Hello, this is Cynthia of Mountain Accents. Today I'm bringing you my first Friday Sews video. Thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for creating the hashtag Friday Sews so that sewing creators can share their sewing journey, a little bit about life, a little bit about sewing. And it brings the community together. Thank you. So this week I have taken off from work for a few days, and I took my parents on a little vacation just for relaxation. Didn't do anything spectacular, but we did have a good time and we did get to relax some, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Before I left, I did finish my first July make. It is the Atelier Jupe Leah dress, and I will insert pictures. So we left on Sunday, and I wore my Leah dress. We decided to stop and visit another church that was on our way to Tennessee. I live in North Carolina, and we drove from Cherokee across the Smokies to Tennessee, and we just spent a few days there in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. And I decided to wear the Leah dress because it was hot, and the dress is sleeveless with just a little bit of ruffle on the shoulder, and it's very flowy. And I have to say, it is so comfortable to wear. I kept it on all day. It was very comfortable for driving in. We had to stop and eat on the way. Yeah, it makes you feel like you're put together and dressy, but you're super comfortable. So I definitely have another one of those in the works. Hopefully I will get it cut out today. I already know which fabric I'm going to use, and I will share that with you in the future. But it is another Think Pink subscription box fabric. I will insert a picture of the one that I made that I wore on vacation. It is from the Think Pink subscription box. I can't remember now, around 14, 15, but it is a beautiful viscose that has its white background with painted splotches. It looks like painted splotches, and it's my colorway has a lot of blues in it, and I love blue. So I'm very thrilled with that make. And today I'm actually sitting here at the dining room table with my sewing machine because I'm going to work on a project from my Sew Confident CCC 23 class. And since I am in the United States, I'm at work generally when she has the live classes. I did join one live class, and there is another one today that I may join later if I have time. I've been catching up on laundry. Apologize for any noise because you probably do hear my washing machine and dryer in the background because I'm doing some laundry, and I am going to sew. And I didn't bring the pattern in here either, so I'll have to insert a picture of the Blair shirt. It was in my box that I received from Sew Confident, and it is in to be made in this beautiful double gauze fabric there with little gold flecks. So I'm terrified of sewing double gauze. I have never sewn it, but with this 2 layers fabric and this little crinkly texture, this scares me. So I'm going to join Izzy with Dizzy Quilts and Sews. She started that hashtag sewing scared. This has me sewing scared. So right now I've got my machine set up just to do some practice sewing on this to see if it's going to work. Make sure that I'm not going to pucker and have all these crinkles and wrinkles and puckers and tuckers, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm really scared about sewing this double gauze. I have to say, as far as the pattern goes, I have so far I've completed one of the sewing makes from my CC 23 class, and I really enjoyed it. And this pattern, this shirt pattern, it's a shirt dress pattern, the Blair shirt dress. We're doing the shirt version. They did it already, and I'm going to try to get it sewn today or get started on it, depending on how I do with this double gauze. I will update you later. But I did, just a few moments ago, add my interfacing, fusible interfacing to my collar pieces. So I was very happy with this interfacing that she included in the kit. I have never used this type of interfacing, but I have to say by far it's my favorite ever. It reminds me of like I want to say it's similar to like a cheesecloth, but it's got the fusing glue, I guess, on the back of it. It's very lightweight. I guess cotton. I'm not sure if it's cotton, but it feels like a very lightweight cotton fabric. Maybe thicker than a cheesecloth, but I'm not sure what they call it, but it's a very lightweight interfacing. And I did use, I forgot to put the pressing cloth in between first, and I had my iron too hot, and when I first touched down, I discolored the fusing on it, but it didn't go through to the fabric, so it didn't damage the collar piece. So I did use a pressing cloth, but this attached to the fabric like a dream. I mean, it was very easy to apply. So very happy about that. And so yeah, so far that's all the sewing that I have got done, but I do have those plans. So I'll tell you a little bit more about my trip to the Great Smoky National Park with my parents. I'm not going to include any photos of them. They don't like being put on social media. So I will insert some pictures of me, or of some of a little bit about where we stayed and what we did. But I did wear, like I said, the Me Made Sunday when we left, or the Atelier Jupe Leah dress. I packed homemade pajamas. I have just little packed a pair of pink sewing woven cotton pants, and a little short sleeve Linden sweatshirt that I'd made with just jersey material, cotton jersey, to wear at night. And then I'm thinking what I wore the first day. The first day I just wore jean shorts with viscose jersey t-shirt. It was the I'm drawing a blank. Give me a moment. Rebecca Page Toronto tee. Super comfortable. And we went that day to explore at Elkmont Campground, or near the Elkmont Campground in the Great Smoky National Park is a village. It was a resort village back in, I think, the early 1900s. And there was I know at least a couple of the men who had resort homes there that were instrumental in getting the park established. They lobbied, I guess, in government to get that turned into a national park. And there are several buildings that they have been able to, I guess, maintain, and they allow the public to go in and view the homes. And so I think there was around 15 that we went in, and they were, I guess, the wealthier people's homes that came from like other states to that area to, I guess, spend some of their time. And so they had money, but seeing the different styles, because some were nicer than others, so you could tell which ones were wealthier versus the ones that were not, maybe not as wealthy, and they had like smaller, and then some that was quite grand. But a lot of because they were built in the early 1900s, the floors are uneven. They have some of them had like rock chimneys. Some I think may have had, most of them had rock chimneys or brick. A couple of them had been wired for electricity because the families who had people still living at the time that it became a park were allowed to stay or go back and visit there until like 1990s, maybe even 2000, early 2000. I think I know most of them was had contracts through 1992, and then there was some that just a handful that was beyond that. But a couple of them I noticed was wired for electricity. But the thing that I'll insert a picture is I don't know if you remember the days when linoleum floors were popular, but I remember as a child, like in the early, I was born in 1972, so that was the early 70s, the linoleum floors, but they would go wall to wall. Some of the, one of the homes that we went in had, I guess what you'd call a linoleum area rug. The one of it was in the entranceway, and then there was in another room that I presume was probably a grand dining room. But I took a picture of the floor in the one that was in the entranceway. So I'll try to remember to insert that and insert a couple of photos from that tour. And then on the next day, I wore another me-made, or two me-mades. I wore my ready-to-wear Patsy Dungarees with Love Notions Classic Tee, and I shared it on my 5 essential handmades, or 5 handmade essentials, and it was super comfortable. But that day we went into Cades Cove and drove the 11-mile loop, and yeah, we didn't see as many deer as I had hoped to see, but we did see some bear and saw one deer. But they, one of the ranger the volunteers that worked in there told me that a lot of the does have birth to fawns, and they are keeping them hidden, and they haven't mowed a lot of the fields because they don't want to accidentally run over a fawn, and so they're holding off on mowing the fields. But we still had a really good day in there. Had an interesting thing happen, I guess. So wearing dungarees and going to the bathroom can be a challenge, but wearing dungarees and going to a porta-john is even more of a challenge. We got around to where the main restrooms are at, halfway around the loop, and their normal bathroom, I guess, is out of commission, so they have porta-johns set up. And it was a tight squeeze getting in there and trying to wiggle around, get my dungarees down without falling in the nasty toilet and getting them back up and everything tucked back in. It was a challenge. So other than that, they were super comfortable to wear. We had another great day. And the cabin that we rented was right on the side of the little river. Now I'll try to insert a few photos from the riverside or from the cabin, and so that was very pleasant. We really enjoyed sitting out on the deck, and then just listening to the water, watching the inner tubers. And they had I guess a concrete rock pad walkway, sidewalk type deal at the very bottom at the edge of the water, with a fire pit built right on the edge of the water, so we were able to enjoy the fire pit and roast marshmallows to make s'mores one evening, and that was nice. But all of our trip was just getting away, relaxing, and so we definitely did that. And on my way home, I wore just ready-to-wear shorts, and I wore my new Lynne Caftan blouse that I made. I haven't shared that yet on this channel, and it was very comfortable to wear. And yeah, so we had a good time. That was life, except for now I'm home. And when you come home, I had mixed feelings. I love being on vacation, but I was to the point where I was ready to come home. And now I'm just trying to get everything put away and cleaned and get ready to go back to work tomorrow. But right now we're going to do some test strips on sewing, and I will let you know how I get on with this double gauze and how I get on with my next Leah dress. I hope everyone is having a great day, and I don't know the question for this week yet. So I don't know what question to answer. Okay, so I found out the question for this week for Friday Sews, and one of the questions is about hand sewing. How do you feel about hand sewing? Typically, I'm not a fan of doing a lot of hand sewing. However, prior to learning how to use a sewing machine, I would stitch some things by hand, but never clothing. And for the first time, I guess, since I have learned how to do garment sewing, I did some hand gathering, hand stitching to gather for the Atelier Jupe Leah dress. It does have 3 tiers, and so each tier has some gathering. And I actually found that I actually enjoyed it. I was a little surprised by that. So I overlocked my edges for my tiers, and then I would, of an evening while I sat and watched a little TV and caught up on some YouTube videos, I put in my hand stitched in a row of stitching and divided like my tiers into either quarters or eighths, and I would hand stitch and gather them by hand and pin it so that I would be ready to sew on that tier for the next day. And I did that over a course of several evenings, and it was very tiring for my eyes. So even I wore my glasses when I did that, but still my eyes got really tired. But as far as the way the gathers look and the process, I thought it made it better than doing the gathering other methods. So that's one of the questions. And then I also saw for July she had a question about the most unusual place you'd ever taken your sewing machine, and I really have never taken mine outside the home, so other than for a repair service, and that's it. I wouldn't call that unusual. So I just thought I'd pop on and answer those questions for Friday Sews. I also wanted to share a little bit of my progress on my Blair shirt. So I did manage to get the collar and the collar stand put together. I've also started on the top portion of the blouse, and got my shoulder seams stitched, side seam stitched, and I'm in the process of attaching the sleeve. I don't know if you call it a cuff. It looks more like a sleeve cuff, but it folds back in on itself. And that is where I have ran into the most problems with. So far, sewing the double gauze is going pretty good. I'm using a Microtex needle, size 70. And yeah, the biggest issue on this sleeve cuff is that one of the sides it didn't want to fit. It didn't want to fit in the hole, and I couldn't get it to stretch, and I ended up adding a few little clips along to try to get them to line up and meet, and so I'm not sure about that, and so I'm a little nervous about when I flip it over and fold it back on itself if I'm going to be able to get it to line up and not pucker, but I'll keep you posted. So that's all of my sewing updates. I'm ready to move on to something else. I need a break. I'll talk to you later. Bye.